So welcome everyone to the North Fulton Sketch Comedy Group, and we are the Sketch Monkeys.
Woo! Yeah!
And tonight, at the fabulous Joanne Fabric and Craft Store here in Alpharetta, Georgia, our special guest in the first series of talks is an established sketch and improv comedy troupe, Decent Humans. So let's have a very warm welcome. I'm skipping all over my notes here for MacLaughlin and Leanna Adams. So this is what I'm going to do. This is the format for this evening. Is I'm going to ask you a series of some questions, and then you guys have opportunity to say anything you want, talk after that if you want.
Sure.
And then we'll ask the audience if they have any questions for you. But in the beginning, I'm going to ask questions in a very high voice, and then with the later questions in a very low voice. So I'm not really going to do that. Okay.
Aww.
You like that idea? All right, so our first question is, how did you, and this is for each of you, so how did you get involved with sketch comedy?
Okay, I'll go. I started taking classes at Your Act, and I just was getting back into acting, and I wanted to see what I liked, and I started taking a sketch comedy class, and I loved it. I'd done stand-up and voiceover, and it just, I could write and act, and it was the greatest thing. And I loved a sketch show that I saw. I loved it so much I had to be a part of that, you know.
Was it Sketchworks?
Mm-hmm, it was a Sketchworks show, best of, so.
For me, I remember very specifically, I was having a conversation and I said, you know what SNL should do a skit of? And then we won't say what the idea was, but the person says, why don't you just do it? YouTube's out now. I was like, that's not a bad idea. And I did it, and it was terrible. It was awful. But I realized I could maybe do it, and then fast forward a few years, I started taking classes on it. I started, I had more of a focus on screenwriting, like dramatic pieces, long, heavy-handed, feature-length scripts, and then I turned it to shorter, heavy-handed, short films. And then I don't know. Then I decided to start taking classes at Sketchworks. I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. Let's do this. Yeah.
Okay, good. When did you meet each other?
So we were both in the writer's room of Sketchworks, and so we knew each other for maybe a year before we started filming.
Yeah, probably about a year.
And,
This is about how long ago?
It would have been like September-ish of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 years and change.
And we both had a conversation one day, and we're like, we have all these sketches, and there's 2 people in them, and they have their day on stage, 10 performances, 5 weekends, and then they're just gone, and you have friends in other places like South Carolina, New York, wherever, and you're like, I wish you had seen it, it was so good, or it failed, but there was this one part, and so we started talking about filming them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and the next question is, how and why did you create Decent Humans? So I guess you just answered that for the most part, unless you want to elaborate any further.
Yeah, I mean, we felt like we felt like we were sort of standing out and like wanted to keep pushing and to do more film stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And other people had other endeavors and weren't quite there with us, and we just realized, why don't we just do it? And yeah, we had a lot of 2-person sketches, a lot of man and woman sketches, ideas, and yeah, we just decided to do it. We didn't want to wait on anyone else anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the performers or groups that have influenced you the most?
You take it away.
Well, I read
one.
this question last night, and it was obviously a lot of the standard, obviously Monty Python and Key and Peele, and people of that nature, of course. There's a few obscure people I enjoy. I like, it's a YouTube channel with Britannic. Look them up, they're good. It's spelled Britanik. I also sort of have a weird enjoyment of Whitest Kids You Know.
Okay,
But
I've heard of them.
But for the most part, I don't necessarily consider myself a student of this.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, because I don't necessarily... I'm not a huge fan of a lot of sketch troupes, and I don't pull a lot of my material from other sketches, and in a way I almost feel like it's making a copy of a copy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more inclined to look at things in regular life and all around, whether it's, and like dramatic films, and even if I'm just like watching the news, if the newscasters are a little quippy, or we went to Ruby Falls not long ago, and the tour guide was funny, and just like kind of studying it all around you, and just like pulling inspiration from just like the natural humor in a lot of life is sort of what I'm more into.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I usually come from a character-driven place, you know. Like, I love old Carol Burnett, and I love what Amy Schumer's doing, but a lot of times I think, you know, wouldn't it be fun to see a woman do this? And I come from there. Or I have an old couch, and I'm like, we have this old couch we could destroy. What we should do a zombie dating commercial, and you know, destroy. You know, so I come sometimes from those places.
And you said you have a stand-up background.
I did a little bit of stand-up.
Did you, Ken, do a little?
Very like twice.
Dabble in that, but
yeah, it's not for everybody.
And how's the improv too?
Tiny bit, yeah. Her a little bit more than me. Tiny bit.
Okay.
Bit, yeah.
Do you remember any good advice you were given about comedy acting?
Yeah. Well, someone once told me that their improv teacher taught them, like, if you're ever in a scene and it requires you to dance, don't dance funny. Dance as best as you can. And I sort of taken that and extrapolated it to most of the things we approach comedically, which would be just don't play for the funny, believe it, buy into it, and do your best. And yeah, don't just reach for the laughs. Don't try to be goofy. Try to do whatever your character needs to do in the scene, and be true to it. That's one that stands out for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Commit.
Yeah.
Take it seriously. Take that comedy seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are those people who can just try to be funny and they're good at it every time, right? But they're all famous and not me, you know? So it's better for me to really be this character. What would this character do?
Right.
And do it seriously. I think that works.
Yeah, you want to trust the writing, let the absurdity a lot of times come from the writing and the stakes and the circumstances. But your character, very seldom, I feel like, should be in on the joke. You know, so it shouldn't be funny in your head.
Okay.
In my opinion.
So we're getting deep. What elements are essential to a great comedic performance? And again, this kind of, you already covered it somewhat, but do you have any other comments to think to that? Elements that are essential to great comedic performance. I made these questions up.
I mean, timing, of course, if you consider that an element. I mean, timing, commitment, like you said. And,
I guess sticking to the script.
Going all in.
Well, not necessarily. Just going all in. I would say, for sure. Just going for it, really.
I mean, there've been a lot of times I've been like, "What are our life choices right now? Like, look at us." But when the camera's rolling, you just gotta go for it. But you know, then after you call cut, you can be like, "I feel ashamed."
Right.
Can you tell me what you feel is your greatest performance strength?
Oh, I'm gonna do Ken's on this.
Okay.
So, and Ken is more of a writer first, I would say. Is that fair? And I'm more of an actor first.
Okay.
Writer just out of necessity because no one's going to write for me. Like, the cavalry's not coming. I have to do it for myself. But Ken has this great mind where he would know the story and the character so well that he could just then improv, like, as the character. He could just talk as the character because he knows it so well that, you know, when the scene's done, he could then say more as that character. And I think that's that's where you want to be as a performer then, because because then you can have happy accidents. You know, someone could say something wrong and then you can respond to that thing.
Yeah, it's always good to know exactly what your character needs and wants in a scene and what they're doing to get it. So if things do unexpected do come up, you still know what your goals are, and like she said, you can get happy accidents out of that.
Yeah.
Is that called method acting? To a certain extent, right? Is that right? Where you're like really become a character for.
I don't feel like he's
right?
I'm not going to speak to you except with my British accent. But it's more like he's like, I'm Joe Schmo, I'm 35, I'm
33,
whatever, and you know, and he knows it so well that he could speak as that character.
And one of the things that keeps me from getting nervous on stage for the most part is I don't go on stage thinking, what do I have to do to make people laugh? I go on stage thinking, I'm Phil, and I need to get this girl to go on a date with me. And that's my goal. And that's true whether it's on stage or in front of a camera. And then probably even a little deeper, I need to get her on a date with me, but I also know she kind of likes bad boys with the sensitive side, so let me keep that in my mind. So I'm thinking all those things as opposed to, you know, if the lighting is good or if the people are laughing or whatever.
Okay.
I have to do her now.
Yeah,
right?
that's kind of on the spot for that.
Right. Leanna's obviously very talented. Her strongest, she's got a lot of strong suits, and more or less everything she said about me holds true for her as well. Like, she knows these characters really well, inside and out as well. Her strongest suit, I mean, her commitment's great. Her attention to detail is very good. Her ability to pick up a voice, pick up a tick or a mannerism of a character and stick to it and keep it throughout. And she's a very good chameleon when it comes to jumping into characters. I would say that's her strongest suit. It's a gift and a curse because she'll be on stage, and on one hand, people won't even realize she was the same character from one scene to the next. So on one hand, it's great, and on the other hand, she gets frustrated because she almost she feels like she's missing out on some of the appreciation.
I have a soft chin, so
you're not afraid to get ugly.
Yeah, but she can jump into characters.
Oh, that's okay to say.
Easily, but she can play the straight person really well too. She can play it straight, and she can be human as well.
As well as a living fart.
Yeah.
I like to play fart.
Quiet down, the audience. So now the opposite of that is, can you tell me what you feel is your greatest performance weakness?
Yeah, I'll go first because mine will be quick.
Because you barely have any.
Yeah, hardly. No, I'm still not comfortable with voices or too many high character pieces. I'm not comfortable kind of breaking above 6 or 7 out of 10 in terms of my energy. I think that's my strength a lot of times, but I think in certain cases it's a weakness. It's definitely the 6 or 7 thing is a strength more often than not. Mm-hmm. Seldom is it a weakness. But yeah, I'm terrified of trying to do regional accents. First of all, I don't know them well. Like, if you could have an Australian person and a Scottish person, it would be a little tough for me to know which. Mm-hmm. I'm just not a good student of those things, and then I definitely can't embody them and become them. So I stay away from that. I try to give all that to her. Yeah, that's my biggest weakness by far, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have trouble. Like, a one-liner is a hard thing, right? If someone else is the bulk of what's going on, and if there's not, who is this character? I'm just this woman saying this thing. That's really hard for me sometimes. I find, because you don't want to deflect from what's happening. You don't want to pull focus and be like, put a spin on it, because it's not about you.
Right. They feel like kind of being half.
And then sometimes I'm like, who is this person? It's a little harder for me.
Okay. So how do you prepare for your roles?
Like I said, my roles are often tend to stay in my comfort zone, in my wheelhouse. I'm generally the straight person to her comic foil. I break down the script. I learn my lines. I find what my character's needs and wants are, even if they're different from what might actually be happening on the paper. I want to know in my mind what my character's after, like what's going on in their head. And I want to get the lines out of the way so I know them, and I never have to reach for them, so I can focus 100% on achieving that goal. Mm-hmm. And then once I sort of am able to answer those questions, I try to just commit to that and just plow through it, like I was saying before, as if I really do want the date with that girl in the scene, really convince myself of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just get those lines down, and then they're so in you that you can listen. I think that's a really hard thing to do, and sometimes I find when we're first running lines, mm-hmm. I'm like, your line, my line, and you're still in that spot instead of feeling what he said, mm-hmm. hearing it, whoever it is in the scene mm-hmm. with you. I really think listening's the most important.
Okay.
It's okay to take that extra beat as long as you really heard what they said, because it's
mm-hmm.
it's not about you, and you could scratch your face or whatever, and it looks so much more
right.
It looks real. It looks
yeah.
Yeah.
So to be able to get there, you got to know those lines, and
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, the lines are almost the least important part. You want to have them just in your head, out of the way, so they just fall off your tongue. Mm-hmm. But really it's about what you're communicating and what you and the character are sharing in the scene.
But also, I love costuming. I'm like all about it. Like I can put on a thing and really feel like,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So you know, I kind of take on a lot of that stuff. You know, we'll hit up a thrift store or whatever. So it's part of the preparation too.
Do you like acting on stage or on video more? And it's okay, I guess, if you like them equally, but do you have any comments about that?
I mean, I think there's nothing like being on stage, making people feel whatever you want to make them feel. I don't think there's anything else like it. I just, for me, it's like it's a lot of time. Where a video, it doesn't always feel as good, but then, you know,
yeah, I got your point
feel
earlier.
good months
and
later when
plus it's
funnier
nice to
guys
know
running it.
potentially more people can see it, and
Yeah. But nothing feels like stage acting to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, like what feels the best, it's on stage for sure. But what deserves more of our focus, or what, on the other hand, I guess the film stuff is like the gift that keeps on giving, because you can look at it a week later, or 2 weeks later, a month later. We just had a piece featured on Funny or Die that we filmed about a year ago, and it's like it was just nice to be reminded of that, and like, oh yeah, and then it feels good, people sharing it, people watching it.
Or like that uncle who doesn't really know what you do is like, I actually like that one about the dead robin, you know, and it's like, oh, we did that 3 years ago.
Right.
do you like the fact? So, of course, being on stage can feel better, but as far as like, do you like the idea of it being able to polish the video?
Yeah,
like
of course.
this?
Yeah.
Because that.
Yeah, in the moment, I mean, nothing compares to stage. Just being there, getting laughs or not. Nothing's ever going to compare with that. But yeah.
So you need to get a big budget stage and costume and everything and film it.
But if you're talking about the whole process rather, where you can polish it after, like I love editing, for example. So if you're asking the whole experience from performing something on stage to the whole experience of writing, producing, acting, and then editing and promoting a piece, then yeah, that I like a lot more than stage. But the actual feeling of the moments you're in between action and cut can't compare to like
the instant gratification.
Being on an
And
audience.
also, and I don't know if you've ever done this, if you record your performances, I used to do this when I did stand up. Sometimes I feel really good and I have an overly positive image, and then I'll be like, I killed, I totally killed, and then I'll get in the car and be like, I didn't really kill. And that might have been pity laughter I just heard. Like, the playback is very telling. But yeah, when you're video editing, you're like, that take wasn't so good. They'll never know. Like, you can cover up a lot.
So this one is already answered, because you're both obviously actors and you're both writers. So I don't need to ask that one.
You can ask it.
Huh?
You can ask it. Ask it.
Are you both actors and writers?
Yes. Okay, move on.
How do you?
But I would say she came in as an actor first. I came in as a writer first, for sure. And we both sort of are learning the other thing as we go, I think.
We both, though, edit and have run the camera. I mean, we kind of have done everything but sound. Kind of.
We've done that too. We've had to.
Yeah.
Actually, let me jump to this question. How many other people are involved in making your videos? Is it just you two, really?
It's just us two. I mean,
No, we get crew.
we have crew.
Okay.
We've only done one where there was no two. It was like 2 webcams. Remember that? That's the only one.
Yeah. No one else. Hasn't been a person that's been a constant throughout everything besides the two of us. We vary with sound people, depending on who's available, shooters, and then we bring in other actors. Occasionally, we'll bring in other writers.
And so we love to work, with whoever's.
Yeah, we love collaborative stuff. Yeah, but Decent Humans itself is just us.
Yeah, but there's definitely common faces that you see that we work with a lot over time. And
How do you go about writing your sketches?
I can never answer this question. You're in the shower, you're driving, something pops in your head. I would say my sketches generally come from, and not every time, but I don't know. Seeing something that maybe from an angle that no one's ever necessarily thought about it from. Just one sketch that I thought of that I wrote was, I just heard, for one, I've heard the expression, it's like watching paint dry. I've heard that 100 times, but for some reason one time I heard it and I was like, why are we picking on paint? Like, why? There's a lot of things that are boring. Why is paint always the one that's getting made fun of for being boring? And then on top of that, like, why do we expect paint to not be boring? It's not supposed to entertain us. Paint is supposed to cover our walls. Anyway, so I had that like weird little conversation with myself, and I was like, I've never heard anyone make that observation before. Then we wrote a piece about paint. We personified paint and had him talk to us, and yeah. So
Okay.
that's where mine come from more often than not, are just little strange observations that I hadn't heard anyone else make.
And I mainly, I mean, in my heart of hearts, I want to show women in ways they haven't been shown before. And so, but, you know, then sometimes I just get a wild idea and I'm like, Catman, why isn't there a Catman?
Yeah, one thing I will say is writing with Leanna, aside, I mean, first of all, it's great having a female writing partner and business partner in this, because it's definitely good for checks and balances, and it's definitely keeps anything from being one too strong of a viewpoint. But also, aside from her being female, her coming at this from a lot more acting experience than me, she'll come with an idea and be like, we should do this. And I'm like, why? What is that even? She's like, I don't know. You're the writer. You figure it out, but I promise you, if we do it, it'll look funny. So she's coming from things that just sort of either look funny or just going to be funny, where I'm coming from things like, are they interesting? Are they making a point? So it's kind of fun when things come together that way. It's like, she's like, I don't know how or why it's going to work, but if we do it, people will laugh. And I'm like, okay. And things I never would have thought of. And then, the challenge from there becomes like, okay, now how do we tell a story along with this?
Do you have like regular meetings that do, or you just sort of, I thought of something, we get together, do you have?
We used to meet every other Tuesday and then shoot every other Tuesday. So
Okay.
that was a breakneck pace.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And now we talk on the phone more.
Right.
But an in-person meeting really holds you accountable, makes you get stuff done,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, even if it's not, we definitely have some pieces that we don't think are super strong, but the fact that we did them meant that we kept going.
Yeah.
We've actually talked about this before, like pieces we like more than others, or pieces that we should maybe get rid of because they're not that strong. But the value that they brought was, okay, it's Tuesday, we need to film something, we got to film this, and it kept us going. Whereas if we'd have been like, this isn't good, we shouldn't do it, then the next week there'd be another excuse, the week after that there'd be another excuse, and we'd lose our momentum.
And we met so many people filming that much. I mean,
Yeah,
we met
yeah.
people who now live together, right? And,
Yeah.
You know, next thing you know, because you're all just like coming together, and then you do other projects, you know.
And I think that's true of all creative endeavors, that if you don't just get started and start doing something, you're never going to do anything. Because
Yeah.
you can plan and think about it and,
Right. It's
talk
like-
about it all you want, but you got to do it at some point.
You gotta do
Fail
it.
up.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
to
Fail
get
up,
experience
fail
and
forward,
get
yeah.
better.
Right.
Definitely.
Do you have an underlining theme or direction with your sketch comedy at all? None?
I mean,
I mean, I really, you know, because I'm always thinking about women and how I don't see them or do, or I can't help but come from that angle.
It's getting
And
better.
I think, totally. It's always getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting really good. But then I'll think I haven't seen women do that, because it's like, what do I want to do? What do I want to spend a day, 5 hours doing? You know. So that's a little thread.
yeah, I'm not sure if we have an underlying theme, but there might be consistent tones, common tones throughout, perhaps. No, I think we just we have ideas, we decide to shoot them, and then from there we decide, okay, what's the tone of this? What's the theme of this? And what's the genre of this? Subgenre, I guess, of comedy. And yeah, we just, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say we have a theme per se.
But we used to do all one-off sketches, and now we're trying to do series. So that, we're kind of putting our heads together about, and some things we've shot, we saw how they could, you'll be on set and you're doing something, and that character can just go, and you're like, maybe we should see him again. You get excited to maybe make it a recurring thing. Like we did a stupid superhero spoof that I thought was just a one-off, but now we're thinking maybe it could be more. We had all
Lady
these.
Justice.
Yeah,
Lady Justice. Yeah.
Wondrous Widow's here tonight.
Wondrous Widow is here.
She's a big deal.
Sorry, can't get you on camera.
That's okay.
We're the budget
Everyone's
camera
missing
here.
out.
Rick, what time
That's
is it?
24 minutes.
Okay.
We're at 24.
Okay, so I'm going to ask one more question, then we'll take some questions from the audience.
Sure.
So what are the performance... So obviously you want to become more successful. It's a given, right? And get a bigger and grow your audience. So so having said that, what are your goals with Decent Humans, I guess, to accomplish that? Is that...
Yeah.
You tell me. Or you
No,
answer.
totally.
You rephrase the question how you think is better. What are your goals with Decent Humans?
Yeah, and so for last year, 2015, we tried to do, we had these certain sketches we wanted to do, and we wanted to do a bigger film. And we've shot that, now we're in post-production on it, and it almost killed us, but it was such a good learning experience.
How long is it?
It'll be about...
It's best possible length till the best possible story is probably about 25 minutes. But we're going to do multiple cuts to fit into different festivals. So the main final cut will probably be about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a limit on these festivals, I guess,
Correct,
a lot of times.
yeah.
And I had a good I won a script writing contest and had a good talking thing with the Atlanta Film Festival people, and they said 10 minutes is the sweet spot for short films.
Oh, okay.
With some exceptions, but they said that's nicely how they do blocks together.
Okay.
And so if you want to break out of that, you got to have good reason.
That's good advice.
Yeah, but 10 or 12. But this year we really want to do some series and get better with social media. Right?
Yeah. So that breakneck pace we were talking about. So when we approached that initially, we were like, okay, so anybody can have a video where they get kicked in the nuts by a cat or whatever, and it'll get 10 million views. Yeah. That's fine. Viral videos are nice, but we always thought that even if we ever did have that viral video, it's not going to mean anything if they don't come back and see that we can do a lot of things. So we spent about our first 2 years just getting as much content as possible. Okay. And really kind of building up a nice big catalog of this. So if we ever do get discovered, that's not really my pace, but then they have literally 73 other videos to choose from. If they,
wow.
That we've done.
And just to get the work, have the work, give yourself the job you can't book. You know,
in the
just
portfolio.
in the practice of it. It's a technical practice. You know?
So yeah, we spent about 2 years really sort of just getting this nice big meaty portfolio, and now the focus is taking the next step,
make it better,
get it to a higher level, and also put eyes on, broaden our social media presence, put eyes on the stuff that we have done, is another big goal of ours for 2016.
So how about some questions from the audience? And speak loud.
How did you come up with your name?
Oh,
we were just talking on the phone one day.
That was in person.
And I'd done work with another group, Joke Pony, and that was just kind of a bunch of friends, and we couldn't all put in the same amount of time, I don't know.
No, you said it was in person, and you said something about something was frustrating you, something was stressing you out, like either in your personal life or your professional life or somewhere in between, and you just said something like, I don't even what you should or shouldn't do in that scenario, and you just said something like, I don't even care. I'm just trying to be a halfway decent human about it. And then you said that would be a good Troupe name.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I was like, yeah. And then the human element of it, one male, one female thing, sort of.
And the bathroom symbol.
Yeah.
I could clearly see that already.
I love that.
We do have a little bit of.
And I love the picture you guys
humor.
have on your site where you're sitting at the diner or whatever, and then you got the two bathroom doors. That's great.
Yeah.
Did you kind of stumble? How'd you come about?
Yeah, we were just trying to get some good photos. And
you're like, oh wow, we can sit right here between the two doors.
Yeah. Our next set of photos will be on the toilet.
Yeah, so I don't know where you came from with the bathroom logo thing. I didn't necessarily see it as bathroom humor, potty humor. I saw it more of like one man, one woman, kind of just pared down to their sort of minimal essence of it, and just sort of represent like the vaguest, simplest representation of a human being is what I was thinking. And
yeah, I thought toilet humor.
Yeah.
It works either way.
Yeah,
it's quite decent of you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Come on.
It's 30 minutes.
Oh, is it?
We're at 29, but I'm ready if you want to keep going.
Do you guys have anything prepared, or do you go?
No.
Okay, rate, perform.
Right.
What's the have you guys had any big discoveries or lessons or epiphanies during the whole process?
She's good.
Like if you could pick one big lesson, what?
Oh, yeah. Choose your partner wisely.
Wow.
No, I do, because I had done something with other people, and they weren't all willing to put in the time and the effort, and I was ready to work. I just wanted to work, you know, and so I found this person, and we have some different comedy things. We butted heads, but, you know, always got past it. And it can be really good. Out of that headbutting can come good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I know for sure is he's going to show up and work as hard as I do. He's going to put in as much as I am, like money, time, tears, and so I can trust that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
It kind of holds you each accountable too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and it is one of the reasons it's nice to be small. People like there's only two of you, how do you do so much? But it actually makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one other
Head.
person that you have to sort of. It's a lot easier for two people to commit to something, and then like six people to all commit at the same level.
But there's somebody to pick up the slack if you have to have a baby.
Yeah. As far as epiphanies or whatever, what I mentioned earlier, the first time someone said to me, "Why don't you just make it?" When I had my SNL skit idea, that would. I don't know if that's an epiphany or not, but through doing this whole process, there's all these things we didn't think we could do, or there's a thing you might hear in your head rattling around from time to time is like, "Oh, that's what they do. That's not what I do," or whatever. But it's like, no, do it all. You know. I remember my dad taught me once when I bought a house and was rehabbing it, and like very knowledgeable contractors would come in to help you. Like, just always remember, none of these people are smarter than you. They just have more experience. But you know, you can learn everything that they know if you focus on it. So things like, oh, I'm not gonna make my own sketch. That's what SNL does. Well, no, that's what I do now. You know, or,
It's a very empowering.
Yeah, just do it.
Realization.
Or it's like, I don't know how to edit. That's what they do. Well, teach yourself how to edit. You know.
I remember I read this or heard this or something, but it's an example of something like if you walk into a class of first graders and you pass out paper and pencil to everyone and you go, okay, draw. And every one of them are going to pick up their pencil and they're going to start drawing.
Yeah.
And then if you go into an office with all adults and you do the same thing, you're going to get a good chunk of them going, I can't draw.
Right.
I don't know how to draw. I can't draw.
Right.
It's like, yeah, of course you can. Everybody can draw.
Sure. Yeah.
Everybody can be creative. You're not going to be great at everything, but you can do it on some level.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's just a thing of going for it.
Yeah,
so,
going for it. Yeah, for sure.
And just the more you do it, the better you get at it. I mean, we've learned how to light better, edit better, shoot better. You know, and you learn who you can and can't work with, and who you're really good at writing with, and who you're, it all comes from the. I mean, there are videos that I'm like, oh, it could be so much better now but we're better now, so that's good. That's the good thing.
Right.
So when you started with shooting on your own, did you use a tripod, or how did you shoot, or did you immediately first have someone?
And that's a hard thing, because crew's so important, but we're not on that side of it. So we started networking and shooting with people, and just and they'd show up with their stuff.
So I would say prior to us being an item, prior to us linking up together,
Shut that down.
Right. I went to that phase where I missed that. I think separately we both went through that phase where I'm gonna buy my own camera, I'm gonna buy my own tripod, I'm gonna film my own stuff. We both did that. We both did okay, probably independently. Right. And then by the time we got together, we had Sketchworks name with us a little bit. We had some experience.
Mm-hmm. I've shot with this guy. He's okay. His camera's kind of whatever.
Yeah. So we knew
this guy has lights. Yeah.
So, but we knew enough to say okay, we need somebody who shoots to, come bring their camera and be the shooter. So by then we'd already gotten our bumps and bruises of trying to film it ourselves, and we decided. We had a little bit of a name, we had a little bit of a draw to get those people to come and shoot it for us.
Do they want pay, or?
I was going to ask, do you sort of trade off stuff? Or?
I'll come do your thing. How long is it going to take? What day is it going to be? I want X. Some people just flat out tell you, I want this, and you'd be like, and sometimes we'd be like, oh, we don't have a budget. So could you work with us? This could be for your reel. If it's not you, do you have a friend who's looking for work? And that's how, or we say we can give you $50 for 5 hours and we'll feed you twice. Would you come for that? And then some people will say no, and some people will say yes.
Yeah, I think honestly though, most people what we ask don't even bring up price until
most people
don't or do.
Don't.
Yeah. So I think again it helped to have
until.
Well, if at all, really.
Because we're pretty upfront. This is no budget.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that we work with, they spend 5 days a week shooting something for Home Depot or an instructional video.
So it's a creative outlet for them.
Creative outlet. And we try to give them things that and we try not to be too hands-on with what they do. We try to give them the autonomy to sort of bring their own eye. Like, we get filmmakers say, I always wanted to do this type of shot. And we're like, well, we'll do it. If that'll make you feel like you have ownership in this and take pride in what we've done, then yeah, bring something of your own to the table so you feel like you're part of it.
And now that we know some people better, some people will be like, look, it'd be great if we could rent this lens. You know, obviously they're not going to rent it. It's going to be $100. You can have it for 2 days, and we could do this with it. And we're like, all right, we're gonna do that, you know.
So, do y'all like a day job too, or is this your whole gig?
No, I tend bar and wait tables for cash, and a few writing relating things that give me a little extra
That's
money.
such a cliche.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And I'm a freelance writer, so I'm chasing down invoices constantly. That's mainly what I do.
What do you write? Can I ask?
Yeah,
What kind of things do you...
So I used to do marketing and PR,
Okay.
and I got some little clients there that I just kept working with. I was laid off in 2008. And so mainly I get word of mouth work, but I also bid on jobs. And I do terrible business writing, technical writing. I've done a toast for a man for his daughter's wedding. Like, I'll write
That's
anything
interesting.
if you'll pay me.
I used to be a server and a bartender, and my 20-year-old son did that for a little while, and so I remember I used to tell him it's kind of like acting.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're being yourself to a certain extent, but you're sort of...
Sure. Yeah.
You have to command attention and sort of be, you know, like a host, I guess.
You can't say what you want to say.
Right.
Right,
So it's
right.
sort of acting.
Yeah, you just can't beat the hours and the flexibility of
Yeah.
the service industry.
Who's your favorite actor that you've worked with in your sketches? No, I'm just kidding. So I know you talked about your goals a little bit, but if you could condense your goals down to like a mission statement, can you do that?
I mean, I think we both
What is
want
your
to...
ultimate goal in the whole vision of Decent Humans?
Views, right? If we
No, the
really
lulls.
condense
It's the
it.
lulls, right?
It's the
Well, I
lulls.
know people laugh, obviously, but
Well, I mean, it's slightly hard for us to answer that question, but that doesn't bother me because I think it's hard for a lot of way more established people than us to answer that question.
for sure.
Like, there's people like Twitter can't even tell you how they're gonna make money one day. Half the movies that come out in Hollywood can't tell you how they're gonna make money soon.
So is that your ultimate goal, to make money?
I want to get...
Yeah.
I want people to see us. Like, to me, it's views. And would that be like we got picked up by some...
I think you'd like. I mean, I'm
distribution?
going to make a big assumption here, but I think you might want to do this for a living,
yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd
Now,
love to do
whether
this. You'd like to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Whether
But
we
you got to
wanna-
pay your bills and live and stuff. So wouldn't it be great if you could?
Do it on a bigger scale. Actually pay people what they're worth. And not... I mean, sometimes we write these scripts and it's like everything. And then we go, okay, what can we afford?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
That's us. Without
Yeah.
we have to keep things in mind of our no budget or
Yeah.
props or anything at this point
Yeah,
in
that'll
time.
go back to an earlier question about like epiphanies or whatever. It's like how to sort of... It really becomes helpful as a writer. Like, okay, we can't afford this. Let's not focus on what it is we can't afford, but what does this moment in this script represent? Okay, what does it achieve? You know, what does it say about the character? What does it do for the plot? Okay, how do we achieve the same thing with something else? And you're constantly forced to like take out and replace and find creative solutions to sort of make the same statement you're hoping to make. And as for ultimate goals or whatever, yeah, do it for a living. What I meant about not really being sure, is it going to be, will we be one of those people fortunate enough to live off of YouTube? That'd be great. I'd be fine with that. Or would we want a Comedy Central deal ultimately? That'd be great, but we ink a Comedy Central deal and Comedy Central goes belly up, you know? You know, Comedy Central. I think, in my opinion, I think in the future, we're almost there actually. Like HBO, original filmmaking, Netflix, YouTube are all going to be like indistinguishable from each other.
Well, and you're right. And at least I agree with you. Is that I think we're in an interesting time. I think the late '80s represented a time where we had cable was established. Off the top of my head, I think your average person had maybe 40 or 50 channels. Maybe they had more in really big metropolitan areas. But then there was that explosion of channels, right? In the late '80s, up well into even the early 2000s of specialty channels, and then programming just exploded, right? Because you have to fill all this time. You have a 24 hours comedy channel, 24 hours food channel, 24 hours whatever channel. And now, I think, it's like what am I trying to say here? Now the show matters the most.
Right.
It almost doesn't matter where it is, so now you got Netflix and Amazon and Yahoo and Hulu and, producing shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so now it's opening up again, I think, for
And
content.
PlayStation and,
PlayStation.
Yeah,
And they're all going to have probably a blend of original and user-generated content as well. That's why it's having YouTube be indistinguishable from Netflix and stuff. Yeah, 20 years ago, the answer, we'd have better known the answer, and the answer should have either been, get a TV show or get a movie deal. But now everything's so entertainment and streaming and content are all so intertwined that.
So then it's more important for us to do what gets you excited, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Focus on that and make it better and
Less
better.
about the platform and more about the content.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
I just got a TiVo Bolt, which combines all the streaming and your cable into one interface.
Yeah.
You're watching something, you don't care or even know where it's coming from.
Exactly, yeah.
Huh. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, my roommate is in all that stuff, and sometimes I don't even know if is it YouTube right now? Is it regular cable, or is it a DVD? I have no idea. It's just, and he's just hitting buttons, and I couldn't tell you if I'm on Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, or HBO,
But it's usually porn. But.
Well, it's always porn.
Right.
It's always porn.
And then who cares where it comes from? Oh, anyone got anything else?
Can you tell us more about any backstage drama? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm all out of ideas.
I don't know. I just think what I've learned the best is keep moving your art forward. Whatever you want to do, stop saying no. I had this crazy partner I worked with maybe in 2011, 2010. And the beauty of her was she would be like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. And she was the first person to say, let's just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd figure out how to do it. And problems come up for us. And then sometimes Kim will be like, well, we don't have blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, well, I had this in my attic, or I know someone who has a psych wall. Their roommate does. It's like, if you just decide there's no limit and talk it out and keep pushing your art forward, at least you might like yourself more.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Bare minimum.
Yeah.
So tell us, maybe throw out a few of sketches that you want us to see, and you want the viewers to see.
Sure.
But we need to go see Decent Human, these sketches that you recommend right now.
Sure. You want to go first? Or?
No, you go.
Okay. If I had to, if I were to put together a portfolio of 5 things that I've written that I would want to sort of put as my best foot forward. Naughty List, Steel, which is a fitness program parody, the one I mentioned earlier about paint.
Yeah.
I believe.
Haven't seen Steel.
Saw that. So Steel.
After the Money Shot.
This is a family show.
Yeah, right. And there was a 5th one I always used to say. I'm blanking on it though. Yeah, we'll just go with those 4. Those 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I really like this one we did. It's called Telecommuting. It's people who work from home, but really they're all deceiving each other.
Okay.
Which I'd like to turn into a series. I like our Lady Justice sketch with this is the superhero spoof, but it's really a commentary about women in superhero films, and I don't know. I like Love Stinks. Because
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's about a relationship, but it's a man and a fart. But it's
that was clever.
It's about judgment, though. It's really about a man.
What about clowns? It's my favorite.
We did a silent film. It's called Clown Nose Job, and I was playing Cards Against Humanity for the first time when the phrase came to me, and that's one we really wrote together. We kind of talked about what was the story here, and I really like that it's this woman who she's a clown woman, just a clown wife, a regular clown wife.
Just regular one.
A regular one.
Okay.
Run of the mill.
All right.
But she has a blemish that she feels insecure about with her regular clown husband. So.
Yeah. No,
he sees this trampy clown on TV.
Now, have you ever done Have you ever done where it's a decent human sketch, but you both weren't in it? Oh, just one of you were in it?
Oh, yeah. We
Oh, you
were
have?
playing where
Okay.
it's just one of us in.
Like the one where, was it texting through the ages or
she was
whatever?
in it, but yeah.
Was that-
I
was-
was,
Kids in the
yes,
end.
I was in it.
Oh, you're at the end? Okay, I
Yeah,
haven't
there's
seen it in a while.
been a
so-
few more where I was dressed up as a caveman. There's been a few more that, quite a few more that I'm not in that she's in. But there's been
And how do you feel about that? I'm just kidding.
finally.
What were you
I
needing
don't
to
like
Yeah.
that.
There's one that she's not in that I actually started producing before there was a Decent Humans. That she was kind enough to let me release on our channel called "I Need a Ride to the Airport," which would have been
Oh, yeah.
the fifth one.
Montage.
Yeah. There's other things we sort of like retroactively put in there that we'd filmed before. We used to do this thing where we released like a legitimate a more professionally done release on first was Friday, then it was Wednesday, on every other Wednesday, but in between we'd do vines. And every so often when we didn't have a vine we wanted to do, we would pull from stuff that we'd done before.
Just to have content.
Just to have content, yeah. So there's this montage one I did with Brian Troxel and this kid named Jake Finan, which we put up on our channel.
Okay.
Didn't take place of the more professional ones, but it did take place of the tiny little vines that we were doing.
And I told him he needed to CGI me in, but
Yeah, right.
Jeez.
right?
Yeah. There's been a few.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks so much for
Yeah.
being
having
with us.
us.
It was
Yeah.
really our pleasure. And I think we and other people listening to this can get a lot out of it.
Oh,
Good.